Okay, I think we're live. Let me just check to make sure we're live. Okay. Let me see. Just make sure on everything. Just to be sure. So I'm not speaking to the void. Okay. I am live. Let me just ping everyone to say I am very much live right now. Hello, it is working. Okay, that is good. We've finally got some people here. I'm just going to tweet out the link. Okay, so we've got few viewers here. I hope everything's working. Am I okay? My mic working? Just make sure, because it's been a long time since I have streamed anything at all ever. It's been like, it's got to be like 2 years since I last did a stream. I think on here I last streamed in like 2020, and on Twitch I last streamed in like 2021 or something like that. So I have no idea. Just got to try and make sure. I don't know if the chat box is working. I've got it set up on Streamlabs, but it doesn't seem to actually be connected. Oh, there we go. Okay, now it's working. Okay, right. I think things are solid. That's good. I'll just give it a couple more minutes for people to trickle in, because it'll take a while. Because people are probably like, "Whoa, Harbo live? I'm not used to that." Because just for a bit of context, like I said on Twitter in my community post, I'm kind of road testing things, because I want to, after the specials next week and onwards, I want to do kind of a little quick live review of each episode, something like this, where it's just me live interacting with chat, kind of giving my immediate impressions and everything. So yeah, it's just kind of an idea, and I thought this would be the perfect time to test it. I have already watched it. This is just kind of my review of it. Obviously, I'll wait for enough people to be in, and then we can start talking about it, because yeah, I literally, as soon as it ended, I was like, right, I need to go set up my stream to chat about it. So yeah, I'm just going to tweet about it. I am live now, just so then everyone gets in, because there's probably like every other channel is also live streaming right now. So but you know, it is what it is. We do what we do here. Okay. Right, so I think we're probably ready to go. So I believe it was called Destination Skaro. I think that's what the official name of it was. And I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how kind of comedic it was going to be, or how like serious it was going to be, because obviously we have Born Again to contrast it with, and Born Again was a little bit more serious. But I mean, I know it might be controversial, but I really liked it. I thought it was the perfect amount of humor, kind of, yeah, as someone pointed out, it's just kind of silly charity, bit of just a fun comedy sketch. You know, that's why they had the bouncy fun music, and yeah, like Tennant and Moran Rizwan got on really well in such great kind of like comedic back and forth. And I think that's what a lot of people forget. And it's not like a serious thing. It's just kind of like a fun comedic short, just to get people interested in Doctor Who, remind them that it's fun, because kind of, I think a lot of people have to remember that Doctor Who had taken itself very seriously in the Whittaker era, like extremely seriously, and this was just something where it was just, hey guys, it's a bit of fun, let's just have a laugh and stuff. And yeah, it was a surprise to see Davros again. Was that actually Julian Bleach? I know some people have said it was, but have we actually confirmed it was actual Julian Bleach? Because it's hard to tell when he's in so much makeup as actual post-accident Davros. Okay, I think we're getting confirmation that it was. So that was really fun to see. I mean, I didn't expect that. I was quite surprised about that. I kind of went, oh, nice. I think a lot of people complain about the music. I think the music was fun. Like I said, if it was an actual scene in like a proper serious episode, I'd be like, oh, it's too mad, whatever. But like, it was just a bit of like, just a laugh. They were just like obviously they got a comedic actor in there in Moran Rizwan and David Tennant. Like, I suppose that the issue, like the one issue I could find in it, is that David Tennant was just being the 10th Doctor again. Like the 14th Doctor, I thought was going to be a little bit different. I mean, it's still too early to tell, but I thought it was maybe a bit too 10th Doctor-y, but it was still fun. I think they had a lot of fun jokes. I loved the whole joke about them having like a super serious claw for the Daleks, and then that just gets destroyed. And it's like, whoops. I just noticed that chat is cut off a bit here. I'm gonna make that a bit longer just to avoid it being cut off so much, because it looks strange to me. Actually, I don't know how I'm going to do that, so I'm probably just going to do it like that. There we go. That's the solution. I'll just drag it up. I'll sort it out ahead of next week. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of weird because I watched more of Children in Need than I expected to, because I had no idea when it was actually going to happen. So they kind of kept us waiting for it. But I think later they're going to be doing a behind-the-scenes thing. I'll check that out in my own time, rather than trying to watch it live here, because, yeah. I thought it was just kind of, like I said earlier, it was just kind of a way of saying Doctor Who's more comedy-centric again. There's a bit more fun going on. And, of course, yeah, as people are pointing out, it's kind of a bridge between Liberation of the Daleks, the 14th Doctor's comic story, and obviously, the Star Beast. And as we can see, they've still got the 13th Doctor's interior. Obviously, they've dismantled the set itself. They're just using the backing board on the TARDIS to make it look like it's there in the background. So I think it's a nice way to bridge that and show to the wider, more casual audience that aren't like us, that skim through all the news all the time and are desperate for every little scrap of information, and we overanalyze every trailer so we understand what's going on. But it's better for the audience to say, okay, well, he's not going straight from the regeneration into the Star Beast. There's a little bit of time there, because not everyone will have followed the comics. And yeah, so I think it was fun. I enjoyed some of the jokes there. Like I said, I enjoyed the jokes about like the claw, like the reason, they started off with the intimidating claw, and then the Doctor's the reason they had to replace it with a sink plunger. That was a bit of a fun bootstrap paradox thing. I think the A Minute Ago I Was a Woman thing, that was just kind of their way of doing like the kind of the 13th Doctor saying I was a Scottish man thing. It was nice to see Davros. Oh, I froze there. Did I just freeze? I froze on my Streamlabs. I hope I haven't completely frozen for everyone, because that would be awkward. I'm stuck in a time eddy. I've been frozen. But yeah, I'm not hugely familiar with the exact timeline of Davros and how long. Like, I guess it recanonizes a bit of Davros' story, that's saying he got that far along before the accident and he was already basically creating the Daleks. But it was just like a fun comedy skit. And I thought it was nice to see Davros as more of a human again. It was kind of a nice twist on using the character. I know in Series 9 opener they had him as a child, but it's very different to see him that far ago, and more of like him as an older adult, still with the creepy scientist vibes. I liked the costuming, kind of with I've always loved the Genesis of the Daleks Khaled uniforms, and it was great to see those again. And as some point out, like the intro at the TARDIS going to Skaro was a really good kind of CGI shot that kind of shows that they're really going all in and trying to make the show look very good. Even in these like shorts, they're not trying to make it look cheap or just doing it for the sake of it. They're genuinely trying to put a concerted effort into marketing the show, which I'm very happy about, because it's very much needed. Because for a lot of people, that might be what encourages them to watch the Star Beast, to be like, oh well, okay, Doctor Who's fun again. It's like really high concepts and stuff. It's just getting those kind of casual audiences. I have frozen again. Am I getting some frames? Because this did not happen. No, I'm not getting any dropped frames. This must be an issue with my webcam itself. So I'll look into that. Because that seems to happen a lot with this webcam. I think it's not a great one. I don't even know what my stream quality is. My stream quality even good? I have not even seen it back in YouTube's like dashboard or anything. Am I like incredibly pixely? Because I was when I tested, and that was depressing. Yes, I have watched the Minisode already. I watched that and went straight onto here. So this isn't like a reaction. It's more of a live after thing review. So I just thought that would be a fun thing to do. Let me just check how this actually looks on YouTube, because again, Streamlabs shows me one thing. When I was testing yesterday, it looked, so pictures quality 24p. Is that even on 1080, or is it just also going to 240p? I think my computer's never gotten along with. I think it looks good on my end. Okay, I've just looked up. Okay, I look normal. Okay, I look good enough. I think it's decent enough to do for this road test. So we'll keep rolling. Because the reason I haven't streamed for like 2 years is because I would always have so many issues with my setup, and it just became such a pain. But I just thought ahead of the specials, it would just be such a great thing to do, just to kind of have some more interactivity, do some live reviews, kind of where I go, of course, my favorite things and stuff. And it's harder to do it for this minisode because there's only a couple of things to talk about. But yeah, we're seeing how it goes. And, if it goes well, we'll do a more regular thing. Because for the specials, I'm trying to aim to get my proper reviews out as soon as possible. But that obviously takes a couple of days. So then immediately after the specials, I can kind of give you some of my immediate reactions, maybe have a bit of interplay with the chat and give me some more ideas for what to talk about. Because sometimes I do my reviews and I don't let myself see anything of what other people say about an episode. Even for my historical reviews, I try to not look at any previous reviews from anyone on YouTube or websites or anything, because I like to just give purely my thoughts. But I think for the specials, it might help because we're all going in new. It might give me a good way of kind of coming in, getting some ideas from you guys and stuff I might have missed, or changing my opinion before I can lock it into stone and have another Mark Twain Megamind incident where I was like, the whole thing. I think it was Legend of the Sea Devils when the Doctor said, rumours of my death being greatly exaggerated. I just saw a bunch of people online saying that was a Megamind thing. So I was like, it must be taken from Megamind. But then I released my review and everyone was like, well, actually, that's a Mark Twain quote. And to this day, I still get comments about that. It's so annoying. I always get people correcting me about everything. So if I do some live reactions, hopefully we can nip some of that in the bud a bit. But I thought another thing, I guess the last major thing I can talk about that minisode is the Dalek naming joke. That was quite fun. Kind of giving all these alternate names and how they just sound terrible in comparison to the Daleks. That was fun. Yeah, obviously I have no idea how far along it is in the canon of it all, but it's children in need. You don't really have to care about the canon of things, because Doctor Who's always just been a bit of a piss take, really. I watched Dimensions in Time last night to prepare for my review of it, and anything other than that is better. I would take anything. I would have just taken David Tennant just monologuing from the bathroom over watching another Dimensions in Time style thing, because that is so bad. This was just fun. Dimensions in Time is awful. This is a much better skit in every form. And okay, I'm getting comments about it again. I'm not doing Children of Earth in a long time. That is if my channel is about to die, I will do a Children of Earth review. Right now, it's still on life support. It's still going okay enough that I don't need to break that glass. The main reason I don't do Children of Earth is because there's just there's so much to talk about. Most of it's already been said. You'll be hard pressed to find a new opinion about Children of Earth, because I like it. I feel like I don't have a whole lot new groundbreaking discussion to bring to the table about Children of Earth. So there's not really a huge amount I can say about it, and it's a big time investment. Maybe I will get around to it one day, but Children of Earth, it just seems like one of those things where I like it. That's it's really good. So it's just, I can't really, it's an S plus kind of thing. I can't really feel like I have to add a whole lot of context to my thought of Torchwood. Time Shadow. The reason I don't do Sarah Jane Adventures reviews is I kind of have just a personal attachment to Sarah Jane's character, and it's just it's hard for me to watch Sarah Jane Adventures back. That's why the only ones I will probably ever do are the crossover episodes that I've already done. It's just difficult for me to watch those back after Elizabeth Sladen died, because it was a big part of my childhood, and obviously Big Finish Davros stories will always clash with any TV Davros stories, and I imagine, because I think he was younger in the Big Finish Davros stuff when he got the accident and became Davros as we know him with the whole third eye. So yeah, I mean, but it's just one of those things. It's Doctor Who has no set canon. That's what I always try and remind people whenever you say, like, oh, Haunting of Villa Diodati ripped off the Silver Turk and Big Finish stuff with the whole Mary Shelley stuff, then, you know, it didn't. It's just an alternate telling of a similar story. It's just, you know, I mean, I personally rate the TV show as like the most canon, and then like I said, like TV show, then like Big Finish, then books, then comics. It's something like that. I can't remember how my hierarchy, just my personal enjoyment is. But Doctor Who has never had a set canon. No one in charge has ever said it's had a set canon, because it's impossible to maintain a set canon. So it's just whatever. It's just if you want something to be canon, if you want some random obscure Eighth Doctor novel to be canon, it can be canon. It's just up to you. So let's see. Yeah, I think I've said kind of everything I need to say about the Minisode. I guess let's just kind of just a chat with you, take some questions, because you guys are kind of asking me some stuff, and I don't want to just ignore you, because that's the point of the live stuff, is back and forth here. But yeah, that, as you say, sometimes it was a little bit Moffat-y in some of the bootstrap paradox in the Doctor creating the Daleks, especially, you know, with the name as well. You know, he called them Daleks, and then they suddenly realized, oh, Dr. Dalek's a perfect name. That was a fun part. I have no idea how to pronounce Moana Rizwan's character's name. I don't know what the hell that was. It was a very, very long name with a lot of syllables in it that I have no idea how to do a thing. But yeah, it's just one of those funny things where it's just back and forth, just saying, "Oh, this is good, this is good, this is good." So it was enjoyable. It was just a bit of a shitpost, really, and I enjoyed it. So to take some questions, what am I most looking forward to in the 60th anniversaries specials? I mean, I don't know, actually. Probably the thing I'm most looking forward to, I mean, there's obviously the Doctor and Donna reuniting. That will be fun. That's going to be a fun thing, but I'm not hugely keen on Donna getting her memories back. I'm not hugely looking forward to a lot of stuff going on, but I am excited. It's one of those weird, it's just this contradiction. I'm just so cautious because so much of it could descend into overly nostalgic. As anti-fan as it makes me sound, the most excited for is seeing Ncuti Gatwa as the Doctor, because that's, you know, the future. So that's my most excited thing. Alien in Trees, have I ever seen the show Red Dwarf? Yes, it's one of my favourite sitcoms ever. I just think it's such an amazing, like, comedy set in space. It's kind of got that Doctor Who vibes, and yeah, I really enjoy it. It's one of my favourite sitcoms behind sort of like In-Betweeners and IT Crowd. It's up there. What else have we got here? What I feel like to review classic series stories. I thought it was actually quite a nice change of pace. I'd been avoiding classic for a while because there wasn't a huge amount to say about it, but but then I thought, it was about like a year and a half ago, I had this idea of either if I'm ever in like dire need of content to talk about, if I run out of stuff, I can do those significant classic Who stories, or, you know, for the anniversary this year, I could do that. And then, you know, I got close to the anniversary and I just thought, hey, this will be a fun thing to do. So I decided to do kind of the anniversary centric stories, and yeah, it was been a fun time. I mean, Five Doctors kind of dragged for me. I had a lot of fun actually writing the Silver Nemesis review. That'll be going up on Tuesday, and yeah, and I'll be finishing it off with Dimensions in Time. I've thought about maybe doing Schalke, but I'll give it a watch and see what I think, because there might not be enough to talk about there. Have I heard the rumours of bioregeneration? And yes, and I'm not happy about it at all. And it sounds like it's getting closer and closer to being a thing that might actually happen, which is very concerning to me. So yeah, not looking forward to that. I really wouldn't like that if that happened. I think that would be a huge negative way to start the show, by basically delegitimizing Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor and giving a lot of people ammo to say he's not the real Doctor. He doesn't even have the real TARDIS. So not a fan of that idea. How much have I watched of the Whoniverse so far? I mean, I've always kind of, I watched Classic Who years ago. It's like, I think some people might get the wrong idea where I'm only making classic reviews now, that I hadn't actually seen any Classic Who, but I had seen pretty much all of Classic Who before. I think it was a while ago I just watched all of it. I just binged all of it. So I have a very good idea of Classic Who. I'm just not as fond of it as New Who, just the nostalgic level, the format, pacing, and everything like that. So, I've pretty much watched all of Doctor Who. There's not really much I haven't seen in the Whoniverse. I watched Tales of the TARDIS, obviously, for my review. So, yeah, there's not too much I haven't already seen. I haven't seen all of the classic series. I've seen pretty much all of it. There's just a couple of stories I haven't seen, mainly in kind of the J&T era. But, I'm hoping to change that up now when I get some more free time. What else have we got? What will I reckon will happen in Wild Blue Yonder? I have no idea. I don't even want to speculate. I just enjoy the fact we have no idea that they managed to hide so much. I hope people don't get too kind of over hyped about thinking it's going to be this big groundbreaking thing where previous Doctors show up or everything like that. I'm just excited to see what happens. What else have we got? Do I think some past Doctor come back in the 60th? Well, there was talk about Shooter was saying that he's done some stuff with the with William Hartnell's first Doctor footage. I really hope that's just like clever green screening, like in the 50th, and not some weird, Disney style puppeting the dead style thing, because that would just be kind of gross. I think that would just be horrible. But yeah, do I think the Master will be in Davis era 2? I don't think so. I think he'll avoid that. I think he will probably push for like the Rani instead, if he can wrangle those rights, because I just think that rather than having the Master back again, they would just rather try and do something new, because the Master's been back a lot in the last like decade. So what else have we got? What's my opinion on the recoloring of classic episodes? I think it's a good idea. Oh, it keeps lagging on my end. I hope it's not lagging for everyone else. But yeah, the colorization idea is good. It will get a lot of people into Classic Who, but I'm just not sure about the colors they've chosen. It seems a little bit too bright and garish. I saw someone point out that there was a huge change between kind of color, like 60s style color stuff in 1963 and 1966. Like you see the Cushing movies, they were made a little bit after the Daleks, and obviously that's the vibe they're going for with this recolorization, but they're very garish with their Technicolor stuff, and having it too garish in the Daleks makes it too campy almost, and it makes it harder to take seriously, because a big part of the Hartnell and Troughton eras are how atmospheric things are in black and white, and colorizing that when they were never meant to be seen in color kind of takes away a bit of that atmosphere and the spirit of that. Have I heard that RTD are giving the Daleks and Cybermen a break? I heard him say something about the Daleks and that they were going to get... But then he also mentioned something in the Doctor Who magazine a while back that they're redesigning the Daleks. So that's kind of conflicting information there. Timeless Children needs to be incorporated into Wild Blue Yonder and Flux stuff. That absolutely needs to be addressed. A big issue people had after Flux was just how unresolved it felt, because I've watched back Flux since, and they do like have a throwaway line about resetting the universe to fix everything, but then that just wasn't focused on enough. So they need to I think that's what Davis is probably going to do with this, and yeah, I think it's an important thing for them to do. For better or for worse, it's better for them to just address it in some form or another, and then move on. He's not gonna retcon it. He's not gonna undo it. He's just gonna address it in some way and move on and let the era do its own thing. What was my favourite multi-Doctor story to review of all time? It would probably have to be Day of the Doctor, but in terms of the Classic Who ones I did recently, probably the Three Doctors. I had a fun with that. It was kind of new territory for me, kind of an unearthly child. I mainly focused on the single first episode of Classic Who. So then Three Doctors was my first Classic Who review, where I was doing a proper 4-parter with so much to talk about. And I just want a big pet peeve I've had since I reviewed that video is so many people in the comments are going, well, actually, it's Omega, not Omega. And it's just like, in the actual 4-part episode, everyone refers to him as Omega. The character is called Omega. The Greek letter is named Omega, but the character, the Time Lord, is called Omega. That's what they call. That's how they pronounce it in the story. I was just following their pronunciation. And that's why I pronounced it everywhere in that episode, but in that review, because everyone knew it was going to be like everyone jumping in. So I was just going to, all right, I've got to pronounce it Omega, and Omega, just covering it all, because Pertwee sometimes says Omega, but sometimes he says Omega. They say it every way possible. Like, they say it 2 wrong ways in the story. So I just decided I'll just say it every way possible just to cover it. It's just such a pet peeve when people get correcting me. It's like, for once, I pronounced something in Classic Who right. I know I don't have a good track record. I got Traken wrong. I mispronounced like Nissa wrong. I mispronounced Tegan Javanka's name. I pronounced it Yavanka. I pronounced so many things wrong. Way back in one of my first videos, I accidentally said Mondasian Cybermen rather than Mondashian Cybermen. But this was like the first time I actually got it right. And it's just so annoying that people were still trying to correct me. Right. So after that little rant, what else have we got? I also wanted to say one thing for the recolorization of the 60s Who, is that they kind of messed around. They made the TARDIS console white when obviously it was green for black and white purposes, and I think the floor, like they've changed some aspects of the TARDIS to fit more kind of what we're used to, which kind of feels a bit weird, because it was a certain way when it was painted, but I guess that because that in black and white, something white doesn't always look as good, so you paint it green because it shows up better. Same with the Daleks having the blue bumps rather than black bumps or white bumps. They messed around with the colours to change it in black and white. So I guess the original intention is to have the TARDIS console as white, but not having it green kind of messes with my brain a bit. It feels a little bit creative liberty. Okay, what we got? Do I think I like the 60th more than the 50th? I don't think so. I'm not like I like Day of the Doctor. It's undeniably a good episode. I do wish it had more Classic Who representation. The 60th does have a bit of an advantage where it's got an extra 2 hours on it, so there's more content there. But I think 50th had more going on. It had more of a narrative thing. It had more Doctors. It had more nods to the entire history of the show. 60th, they're just incomparable, because one's like purely celebratory, and then 60 is also just kind of like, that 60th, they're moving it forward a little bit. They got a little bit more narrative forward rather than just looking back. They're very different things. You can't really compare them, so it's difficult for me to do. What have I got? How's my Christmas shopping going this year? I haven't done any yet. Don't tell anyone. Haven't managed to do any. I have favourite pieces of Doctor Who merch. I've never really been much like a merch person, really. It's just I don't like really wearing merch. Ironic, given I'm wearing like a WWE merch t-shirt right now. But I only really like wearing merch stuff that doesn't look too obviously merch. It just looks like a cool design on its own. And a lot of Doctor Who t-shirts or like hoodies and like stuff like that, it's just kind of just too merchy, and I'm not a huge fan of it. So I don't know if I got a favourite piece of Doctor Who merch. I like the sonic screwdrivers, like the recent, well, actually that's my favourite bit of Doctor Who merch right there, the mug gan. There we go. Question answered. It's the mug gan. So bioregeneration, it's a theory at the moment. I just want to preface that. It's a theory / leak / rumour, unconfirmed by official sources or anything, but it's, in case you're worried about spoilers, come back in like 5 minutes and I won't be talking about it anymore. But there's this theory, rumor, spoiler about something called bioregeneration, where essentially when the 14th Doctor regenerates, he will split into like the 14th Doctor and the 15th Doctor as separate people, kind of like a meta-crisis situation. So the suggestion is, like, the implication is that the 14th Doctor is going to like do his own thing with the original TARDIS, apparently, while the 15th Doctor has a new TARDIS and goes off and does his own thing. And safe to say I'm not a huge fan of that, but it's still unconfirmed. We don't know how it might be written, if it even is true. But yeah, anyway, if you don't want spoilers, you can come back now. That's what bioregeneration is, or at least theorized to be. I did not watch Day of the Doctor in a theatre or cinema. I don't think I knew it was going to be in cinemas at the time. I just saw it on TV, like most people, which is a shame. I think my cousin saw it in the cinema, which I'm jealous about. Am I going to do a PO box again this year? No, that was only a one-off thing because I needed someone to send me a steelbook that they'd managed to find for me. So then I thought, well, while I had the PO box, I would just take advantage of it and have people to send me whatever they wanted. So it's not going to be like a recurring thing. It's expensive to maintain. It was just like a one-off thing. I thought, well, it's here. I'm just going to ask people to send whatever while there's a chance. Right, what we got? Which actor who played Doctor would I like to meet IRL? Definitely Capaldi. My favourite incarnation of the Doctor, his stories and his era, especially the stuff like Twice Upon a Time, is a huge personal significance for me. It helped me through a lot and shaped me a lot as a person. So I just love to kind of just shake his hand, just tell him how much his era meant to me and how much I appreciate his portrayal of the Doctor. Right. So I say so much, just the normal filler I do. It's either that or like. I just can't help it. My brain is wired that way. I have not considered doing any Stranger Things reviews. I'm not a huge fan of it anymore. I liked Series 1, and ever since then, I think it's been kind of going downhill. So I wouldn't really do any reviews of it. It's not my thing. I try and review things akin to Doctor Who when it's my own thing, like Expanse video essay. I thought, well, it's similar to Doctor Who. It's something I wanted to talk about. Or, Jerry Anderson stuff. It's similar to Doctor Who. I reviewed the horrible Thunderbirds 2004 movie. It's just so hard to split off and do non-Doctor Who stuff. Anytime I try, they get a fraction of the views. And I completely understand why. I'm not blaming anyone because obviously I've built my channel off making Doctor Who reviews. That's what the majority of my audience want to watch, and I can't blame them for that. I try and kind of appeal to a wider audience sometimes with videos. It doesn't always hit, but it's fun to have variation. Like when I made, my Thunderbirds 2004 review, that was a lot of fun. And of course, where people commission me to make reviews, obviously on my Patreon, I have a commissioner tier where you just for 1 month payment, you can ask me to review whatever you want, and yeah, then I review that. I've done weird stuff like I've done Ultraman, I've done The Thing by John Carpenter, I've done Fallon Cortez commissioned me to review My Little Pony way too many times. I've done Scooby-Doo. I'm doing Hot Fuzz at some point. There's just so much fun I can do with that kind of review format. What else? If I was showrunner, this is a question I get a lot. If I was showrunner, who would I pick? I don't know how I get to pick the companion or whatever, but I think a good version of the Doctor would always be, I can't remember his name, the guy from Hustle, the main guy from Hustle that played Mickey Bricks. I think he would. Is it Adrian Lester? No, is it? That's not him, is it? Let me have a look because I really don't know what his name is. I think is it. Oh yeah, no, it is. I was right. Yeah, Adrian Lester. I think he would be an amazing Doctor. I'm a huge fan of Hustle. I think he plays kind of quite a doctorish figure in there. He's got a little bit of cheek to him. He's got charm. He can do all these tricks and stuff, and he's a bit flirty, stuff like that. So I just think he'd make a good modern Doctor. Right. Thank you, Alien and Trees. I'm glad you like my commission things. Obviously, I know people don't watch all my commission stuff. They just watch what interests them. But hopefully people take an interest in that stuff because it's a chance to branch out, do a little bit new, because I do like Doctor Who, but I like making other videos too, and it's more sustainable in the long run if I can appeal to more wider audiences. I haven't watched Loki. Not really interested. Marvel doesn't interest me. I only ever really liked Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, just never really been a fan of Marvel stuff or superhero genre in general. Could I see the Daleks have a spin-off on TV? No, I just don't know what you'd do with the Daleks as a central character. There was the Daleks web series thing. I didn't really watch that. It wasn't really my thing. It kind of looked like Second Life animation. Not, just saying animation quality wasn't up to kind of what would appeal to me. So I gave that a miss. Favorite streaming service? I don't use streaming services. One, I don't have the money. Two, I just don't have the interest. I don't really watch many TV shows. The last TV show I really kind of watched was, I guess, Wrestlers on Netflix is a good documentary. But then the last fictional TV show I really sunk my teeth into was Ted Lasso. But let's just say I had other means of procuring it. So that's how I watched it when it was coming out. I had to review a TV show from my childhood. I've wanted to review so many TV shows from my childhood. I just wanted to do a whole retrospective of all the weird stuff I grew up with. Stuff like Stupid. That was such a trip. Stuff like, God, what was it? Yes, like Raven. That was not That So Raven. The other Raven. The Way of the Warrior one, Chuckle Vision. I just grew up so like Sooty and Sweet, Basil Brush. There's so much weird stuff I grew up watching. I just really wish I could kind of talk about at some point, but I never have that kind of the time or the resources to do that. Right. What made me want to start? I didn't want to start a huge channel. I just wanted to start a general channel, and it just ended up funneling into Doctor Who because that's what I was super into at the time. I was getting back into it, and I just kind of stuck with that and then kind of pigeonholed myself, and to this day I suffer with that. I haven't seen Jack Reeves' Doctor Who ride. I don't really watch other Doctor Who YouTubers, just a personal taste. Just kind of I've never really watched Doctor Who content. It's just my personal interests lie elsewhere, so I never really get an idea of the scene. I just see what crops up my recommended sometimes and see how many views it gets and goes, oh damn, YouTube, like, you know, Who Culture are getting like 50 billion views for their latest low effort list video. Guess I have to think about that next time I'm like worrying about the paycheck this month. Liberation of the Daleks is canon. I mean, everything's canon if you want it to be. What's a spin-off show I'd really want? I said this in a Patreon Q&A because I do a Patreon Q&A every month on exclusive for my patrons. But I've always wanted one where it's set in Gallifrey's past, where it's about like kind of a group of adventurous Time Lords. It would kind of give you that, maybe it's like 10 years too late, but give you that kind of Legends of Tomorrow excuse to have a bunch of different characters all flying off in TARDIS, kind of charting the universe, exploring new planets for the first time and getting into scrapes. You know, it would give you a chance to add new stuff and not have to worry about the Doctor needing to be involved. You'd be able to have multiple people piloting a TARDIS at once. It just would create an interesting Star Trek vibe, I guess, and add a little bit new to Doctor Who. And I'm not still talking about spoilers or theories. No, don't worry. I stopped that a little while ago. Does nostalgia would be a fun series? I'm not sure what that means. Do I think the Rumour Began spin-off is a good idea? I mean, if that tells you all you need to know. I love the Eighth Doctor, but I don't know what. So it was broken by the Mirror, but not by what, I don't know what her name is. I always forget her name, but there's this one Mirror writer who supposedly had a good track record, which when you actually look into it, it's not as good as a lot of people think. It's a bit of confirmation bias there. Like, I remember I shot a pilot for Guess the Headline show, which maybe I'll release one day, but I don't think it really, maybe on the second channel, it didn't really seem as good when I was editing it. But there was a fun thing in there when I was researching for that, where that same writer did a story about how that, like, she basically conflated the Auton Series 1 episode with the Slovene episodes and mixed them together as like her leak to be like, this is what's going to happen. And it was very wrong. So she hasn't had the best track record. So even if it was broken by her, I wouldn't take the best, like the most stock in a McGann spin-off. But I would just love an idea of the Eighth Doctor spin-off, even if it was just animated. I've always kind of championed the idea of an animated anthology show where each episode is a different Doctor and companion pairing, and kind of you can combine like voice actors from Big Finish, you know, that have recasts for the older Doctors, or just get the actual Doctors and companions who are still alive back in their actual roles. But whereas animated, you don't have to worry too much about explaining their ages or getting them to do too much like acting heavy lifting, because they're just voice acting. So I think that could be fun. It's just this like anthology animation adventure. Right, what else do we have? I mean, we do need more spin-offs, because all three of those spin-offs aren't a thing anymore. So there's no point like saying we already have those, because they've all been like stopped for one reason or the other, or weren't successful. So we need new spin-offs that have different kind of drives behind them. Retrospective thing. Oh right, that's what you meant. Okay, yeah, it could be fun. It's just so hit and miss, because obviously where my channel is so laser focused on Doctor Who, that's the audience I've built up. it's always a risk to do something different, and I don't have a whole amount of time to invest in something new. Maybe I have a little bit now because I've hired an editor recently to handle a little bit of videos, like my Silver Nemesis review, one of my lore videos, possibly my Return of Dr. Mysterio review, just here and there to help balance things up a little bit and give me a little bit more time to work on either bigger videos or more videos. So maybe if I have some more time, I can delve into something a little bit different and do nostalgic British TV show, because that's been successful for other channels I've seen crop up here and there. What's the time? Okay, I'm probably going to go for like another 10 minutes or so and then head off, because it's almost been an hour already. And it's just kind of, yeah, I think the stress testing has worked out. I think my channel, I can handle the stream, but yeah, I just want to interact a little bit more, see if you guys have got any interesting questions or things you want to ask me, because it's kind of like a preview, I guess, as well, of the specials to come, because I am going to be so busy when those come out. I'm going to try and get a review out Thursday usual time, just because I don't want to rush it too much. I do like that they'll be airing on a Saturday rather than a Sunday, because the Sunday slot of stuff like Flux made it quite, well, I guess I didn't do them live, but yes, when episodes were released on a Sunday, it was a lot more difficult because you lose a whole day of being able to write, record and stuff. And because I like to stick to my set schedule, because I feel like that's what you guys know. It's like, okay, it's Thursday, it's time for a Harbo video, or it's Tuesday, it's time for a Harbo video some weeks. Yeah, so I feel like I feel like it's where I want to try and get the videos out on the Thursday. I'm still going to probably be having some videos coming out on Tuesday, like my Dimensions in Time video is probably still going to come out Tuesday after the Star Beast, which is funny because I'm titling it something like I watched the worst Doctor Who episode ever or something. So some people might accidentally, somehow, despite the thumbnail being completely different, think I'm talking about the Star Beast and then complain about clickbait, which is something that's gotten really annoying recently. People don't understand clickbait anymore. Trust me. I grew up with YouTube in like 2009, 2010. That's when real clickbait was a thing. You know, if you think my videos are clickbait, you have not seen actual clickbait. But anyway, I don't want to keep ranting. What else have we got? I think the 10th and 14th Doctors have the same face. I mean, they've basically implied that they don't even know like how they're going to explain it. I think that was the clothing. I think it was the clothing that they don't have a reason for. But the face thing, I think they're just going to come up with something where it's like, oh, well, it needs to be a reminder of like saving people. I don't know, but yeah, I know. I feel like, because like real clickbait is when it's something that does nothing to do with it. Like if I was to say like, I don't know, I can't even think of an example off the top of my head. I'm like, real clickbaiting is not like real clickbait would be like when I pranked people by saying like 13th Doctor defending the despised, and it was an April Fool's Day joke. You know, that was a conscious clickbait as a joke, because that wasn't anything to do with the 13th Doctor era, you know. But that was right. People do that unironically all the time. And you see it in like Who Culture thumbnails where they have one character's face pointing to another character's face, and then they don't actually talk about that implication. I've done that like twice, and that was just to capitalize on the precedent they've set for the rest of the community. So if you want to blame people for clickbait, blame the actual clickbaiters. We just have to play that game because it's the only way I get paid. And yeah, the face thing is probably to do with the toy maker. He's probably messed up the Doctor's timeline and smashed two of them together like action figures. Am I looking forward to reviewing Series 10? I do like Series 10, but where the reviews aren't doing great for the channel at the moment, I am going to be looking at doing them less frequently after Series 9. I'm probably going to do my overall Series 9 review and then kind of taking a step back and going back to more video essay style things, or when I do review stuff, just the brand new episodes, because I mean, you can just kind of see I was pulling like over 30k for like the Smith era, like even for like the episodes no one really cared about, like Vampires of Venice, I think still got over like 25k total. But then you see even like Face the Raven struggles to get up to 20k, and it's just like there's so much time I put into the reviews now and they just don't really pay it back. So it's just kind of like can I justify doing it as often with the time constraints and the monetary constraints? Because obviously before I hired this editor, I was basically a one-man show. I'd write everything, I'd record everything, I'd edit everything, and that's really hard to keep up with every single week. And obviously the reviews were a big part of that, because there's so much that goes into them and so much goes into editing them, because I try and make really conscious editing choices with like the visuals I use. So where I'm trying to kind of ease off my schedule a little bit, because I've been working basically flat out for 3 years now, and I think I've actually literally got some grey hairs at the grand ripe old age of 24, just because of how much I've had to like work 24/7, like actual like full like all-nighters so often with this channel. And trust me, I'm not complaining, I enjoy it. I'm so blessed to have this job. But Series 10 reviews might not be the right thing for a while. I'll probably default to like once every other month, or like once a month, or just slower pace, still get to them. And then I'm probably going to cancel like the retrospective reviews at Twice Upon a Time rather than going on to the 13th Doctor era, because there's like zero interest in retrospective reviews of those. YouTube is my full-time job. It's been my full-time job for about 3 years now. Ever since kind of early 2020, my channel blew up, and it's been a job ever since then. So obviously I do sometimes have to balance what I want to make and what I financially have to make, which is why I experimented with food culture style lists for a little while, just to try and get a little bit of cash in, but those didn't do well. So you got to experiment with all sorts of things and change or stuff like that. So I'm not like discouraged. They do well over time. It's just so I've got to rewire my brain constantly to be like, well, I blew up with my RTD reviews when everyone was inside and not doing their jobs and all COVID stuff. That's why they did so well, and we're getting like 150k views for a review. So views, did I say views or reviews? You know what I mean. And then now it's like, I work really hard to get out like a Series 9 review, and I basically like make it like finish it editing the day before it goes out for Patreons or something, and then it kind of just flops, and it's a little bit of a demoralizing thing. So it's just tricky to weigh up what I can do and what I have to do to keep doing this full time. Right, Star Wars. I wish I could make Star Wars videos, but I guess I kind of missed the boat on Star Wars being interesting enough to make videos about, because now it would just be negative stuff. I've seen you post that question a couple of times. I didn't really like grow up with it. I think I caught a couple of episodes of the Batman animated series growing up, but yeah, I never really saw too many Saturday morning cartoons growing up. I saw like the basics like Scooby-Doo, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think they had an animated show at one point. I guess Power Rangers kind of counts. I know it's not a cartoon, but I saw some Saturday morning stuff, but I don't think I ever really watched many of the DC comics things like Justice League or Teen Titans or anything like that. So it's not really something I'm hugely familiar with. Thank you, Alien and Tree. Yeah, I mean, I do like the idea of taking a break, but it's just one of those things where the size of my YouTube channel, I can't take like an extensive break. I can't just take like a whole month off like people do in January. I'm still having to work full on even going in January, because January, I suffer from like the January mini apocalypse, yearly apocalypse thing for months, basically. And yeah, I don't chase growing up. It's more of just where it's like, I guess, where it's like previous precedent of like, I was at that point. I'm seeing other people getting like high views now, and I'm just thinking like, what can I do to reinvigorate the channel? Because, a lot of people in my Discord don't even self-admittedly don't even watch my videos anymore. And it's like, damn, what did I do wrong? So it's just, I'm always trying to think of ways to pull people back in and get people interested. So that's why I'm kind of going back to video essay style formats. Like, I got a couple of good ones planned. Like, I want to explore the whole Dalek conspiracy theory, where people seem to think that there's a written contract that the Daleks have to appear every single year in some form. And I just want to kind of work out where that came from, or kind of who came up with it and how likely it is. And then I want to make a video essay about how the Doctor and River isn't actually a romance. It's kind of just this weird Stockholm Syndrome effect style thing. And, because one of them was genetically engineered to be obsessed with the other, and the other one is just paradoxically inclined to be romantically involved in River. Like the Doctor just does it to fix the bootstrap paradox. So yeah, I've got some good ideas planned. In January, I've got some more lore videos to go. The lore videos are kind of just there as like every week I can do an extra thing, and if they blow up, then okay. I like the Odd Silly Theories. Yeah, I like making those. It's just so hard to come up with the ideas because I don't really know the theories. I don't follow too much going on. I've also got a fun idea of M. Dickey's wrestling game. I want to just do like a big Doctor Who Royal Rumble just in January when it doesn't really matter what I put out anyway. Stuart Stockman. I feel like if you want to go into a YouTube channel with the aim of making it successful, I feel like you're going to set yourself up for disappointment, really, because it's so hard to blow up on YouTube. You just kind of have to have consistency and luck, basically. You know, if you upload consistency, you'll eventually gain favor in the algorithm, and they just gotta, it's just luck whether one video hit it. Like you've seen it, like I've seen it so many times recently where in my recommended, some random channel with like 1k views will suddenly have a video that pops off with like 100k. You know, it's just luck whether the algorithm just happens to do it. It's really just so unpredictable. So really just, if you're going to get into YouTube, just do it because you enjoy making the videos. That's kind of how I started. I just enjoyed making them, and then it just happened to blow up. I was doing it as a side thing, and then eventually, yeah, it became big enough that I could do it full time. What else? I don't know if I would ever be able to use YouTube Shorts. I'm not used to short format. Like I don't use TikTok. I hate TikTok. YouTube Shorts is kind of like YouTube's version of TikTok. So I don't know if I'd ever even be able to capitalize on that. Yeah, I don't even understand how the algorithm works. Like some videos I think will do really well in the algorithm. They don't. And some videos will suddenly blow up. Like I've said it loads of times, but my Nirvana documentary thing about the unmade Doctor Who cartoon, I did not expect that to do well. I thought it was way too niche and it was going to just flop, and it was just having normal reactions and views for a couple of days, and then suddenly it just shot up. I guess because word of mouth, a lot of people saw it and just wanted to share it around, and that's kind of built up. And yeah, it's just this weird thing where you have no idea what's going to blow up and then what won't. Video on the time of Victorious would be great. I have planned that, like vaguely. I've had that idea for a little while, but I just don't know what I'd say about it. All I can really say about it is just like it was mismanaged. Yeah, but yeah. Going back to the Nelvana video, because of how well that did, I do kind of want to get to make a couple more of those. I've got a few ideas, maybe like one about the Dark Dimension, maybe one about the Rose Tyler Defender of the Earth spin-off that they were going to make in like 2006, something like that. You know, I've got a couple of ideas of another deep dive style documentary video like that, but it's just so tricky because it takes so much time to do on top of everything else, because I like to try and keep a weekly output for everyone to enjoy, rather than I don't want to become one of those channels that, you know, they only post like one video a year, mainly because I can't financially afford that, because I'd have to get a proper job to do that. But also just I like putting content out for people regularly, so it's a tricky thing to balance. But yeah, I mean, it's been almost an hour now. I'm probably going to head off. It's getting towards the evening. I have things to do before I go to sleep, so unmade story videos, they'll come back one day in some form. I mean, the Nelvana one was an unmade story video that, like, in my production, like in my folders, in my Windows folders and everything, it was under the unmade stories branch, like, folder, so it was an unmade cartoon. It was technically an unmade story. So yeah, strange. Yeah, no, literally that's just with the algorithm. Like, so many people, like, they'll put so much time and money into a video and it won't do any numbers, and then they'll like just throw one together and it will do amazing. I've had that with so many videos. There was one recently, I can't remember what it was. I think it was like Tales of the TARDIS. I made that in like a day. I watched it, wrote the review, recorded it basically within a day, and it was basically a last minute thing, and it did better than some of my more consistent videos recently. So it was just kind of, I still wanted to make it. It was just a case of I didn't expect it to do well, and it suddenly just did okay, and I was just like, Heaven Sent Review is out next Thursday, or this Thursday now. It's the next main video coming out. It'll be 23rd of November, 7 p.m. as always. It is a 50-minute video, so if you were to watch it alongside the stream, it would have been only finished like 5 minutes ago. Probably not even that. It's like 52 minutes. So yeah, I've been holding off on it a little while just because I hadn't actually had anything else made. Like, I scrambled to make the Five Doctors video. I literally finished that on Tuesday evening. I finished the Five Doctors review on Tuesday evening. It went out to patrons on Wednesday, and it went up on Thursday because I've just been trying to make these extra, like, 2 videos a week. So it's just this thing. That's the reason I've been holding off. Like, it could, like, if I hadn't finished Five Doctors in time, it would have come out this past Thursday. But I guess it's fitting. It'll come out on 23rd November, Doctor Who Anniversary Day, a couple of days before Star Beast. Hopefully it will do well. So yeah, that's where I'm going to end it. I hope you enjoyed this bit of an impromptu stream, kind of testing. I'll hopefully be back next Saturday to review the Star Beast live, and again, just hang out with you guys and see what goes on. So yeah, see you all Tuesday for my Silver Nemesis review, Thursday for Heaven Sent, and then I'll see you live next Saturday. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for hanging out. Hope you all enjoyed the Minisode thing, and yeah, have a good one. Bye-bye.